How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason. I'll be your host on this CFL talk show, Hussey's Huddle. In this video, we preview and predict Week 21 of the 2022 CFL season, last week of the regular season before we get into the playoffs, and unfortunately, not a whole lot to be decided. Actually, nothing really to be decided in terms of playoff implications this last week of the season. I believe one of the only weeks in years in CFL history that this has happened, but that just means we get to focus more on the playoffs to come next week. Hoping to have the video out for my preview and predictions for the playoffs out by the end of the day on Saturday. The game's on Saturday, so you guys have lots of time to go over my predictions before the playoffs start next week. So without further ado, let's get started with the final week of predictions for the regular season. All right, so let's get started with this week of meaningless games, and this makes it even harder to predict. A lot of backups playing this week, so I'm not going to really go in depth with any of the analysis for these games. Just going to have to throw a dart of who I think is going to win. So starting with the first game, which is tonight, BC at Winnipeg. Nathan Rourke actually making his return to the lineup after, being out for the last 6 to 8 weeks here. And very excited to see how he looks. Probably only going to play about a quarter, I believe Rick Campbell, the head coach, said. But nevertheless, going to be very excited to see how he does in his return to action. And I think for Winnipeg, obviously, I think Zach Claris is going to be playing a little bit in this game. Not going to play the whole time. Don't expect their starters to play most of this game. So, very interested to see what happens in this one. I do think Winnipeg probably wins the game at the end of the day. I think with both teams, resting their starters, I think a lot of the home teams are probably going to win this week. So I'm going to take Winnipeg to win this game. But again, all eyes on Rourke in this one. And then moving on to Saturday's action, we have Toronto hosting Montreal. These two teams played last week in Montreal. Toronto getting away with a 1-point victory on a last-second rouge there. So a lot on the line last week, nothing on the line this week here in Toronto. And, with the backups playing, again, not a good read on who is going to win this one. I think I'm just going to say Montreal just because they lost last week. And some of these guys, I'm not too sure how many of their starters are going to play a lot of the game. But I'm sure they're going to be motivated, the ones that do, to finally beat Toronto this season. They've lost the first 2 games in the season series, so proving that they can beat them going into the playoffs, a potential Eastern final preview in this one. So I'm going to take the Alouettes to win one at BMO Field. Chad Kelly getting the start for the Argos, looking at that one. So, not too sure if Trevor Harris is going to be playing in this one. I haven't quite looked at the depth chart for the Alouettes in this one, but should be interesting to see maybe Davis Alexander, a guy that looked really good in the preseason, going to get some action for the Alouettes. So, those are the storylines that you want to watch out for in this one. But again, not a whole lot to say about this game. Then the second game in the Eastern Division this weekend between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Ottawa Red Blacks. Another rematch from last week where Hamilton won last week. I think Ottawa at home is finally going to get their first victory of the season. I'm going to take them in this one, playing a lot of the Tiger Cats backups. I think Ottawa is going to be playing a lot of backups as well, but I think they're going to be motivated to get that first victory and only victory at home this season, and I think they'll get that done. And then the final game of the week is Calgary and Saskatchewan from McMahon Stadium in Calgary. I think Saskatchewan weirdly ends the losing streak here. I think they're just more motivated not to end the season on such a poor note, just losing. I think it was 10 of their last 12 games after starting 4-1. So just a really rough slate for the Saskatchewan Roughriders the last 3 or 4 months of the season here. So, looking to end on a high note here with Mason Fine making his second career start. Calgary, again, nothing to play for. They're ready for next week. Bo Levi Mitchell, we actually might see the last time that he's in a Calgary Stampeders uniform in this one. So going to take the Saskatchewan Roughriders to win this game. Again, not a great feel about it, but I just think that they'll be more motivated to play, seeing as they are not going to be playing next week when the playoffs begin. But those are just my quick thoughts on the final week of the CFL regular season. Not a whole lot to say, like I said, but lots to say about the playoff matchups coming up next weekend. So looking forward to recording my playoff predictions. Also going to be doing a little bit of CFL award stuff. Really much looking forward to recording that one. And with that said, hope everyone enjoyed the video, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to drop a like down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.